Well, good evening, and I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm super excited about the conversation we are getting ready to have. My name is Alicia Levels-Moore, and this week is National Small Business Week. So the country is celebrating small businesses, but it was important to me to celebrate our local entrepreneurs, our local small business owners right here in Birmingham. So this is Birmingham Small Business Week. And so, okay, all right, listen. So I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to not only celebrate small businesses, but equip them with the education, the resources, and the information that they need. We're in a really interesting place in Birmingham, and I thought this was a really important conversation to talk about the future of where we're going. And then really hear from people who are leaders in their industry to get their thoughts and their insight on where we are, the things that worked for them, the things that didn't work, and really encourage people along their journey. So I appreciate you all for being here. So one of the things I like to do, because we got a little intimate setting, is I like people to introduce themselves, because sometimes being in rooms where you know people and sometimes you don't, it could be a little weird. And so the more you feel like you know somebody, the easier it is for you to, share and to talk. So I want to give people an opportunity. I'm putting y'all on the spot, so prepare yourself, to introduce themselves. And so most of the time I like to ask people to tell me their name, their business, or what industry. And you know how you go places and people are like, what you do? I don't know about me, but I hate that question, because it feels like people are trying to figure out how to place you, how much value they're going to give to you. So instead of asking people what they do, I like to ask people what they're passionate about, right? What industry or what area do they feel like they want to bring about some change? So, guests, don't look at me like that. I'm going to ask you guys if you could go around the room, introduce yourself, give us your name, your business, what you're passionate about, your industry, because that will also help us to shape this conversation. I have some things I want to talk about, but I want to make sure that you hear the information that you want to learn about, right? So I hate going places and people just talk and I walk away and I'm like, that was such a waste of time, right? We grown, so we don't have no time to waste. So I want to make sure that as you guys introduce yourselves, matter of fact, one more question I want to add to that is, what do you hope to learn from tonight, or what do you want to gain? So then that way, as we're answering questions, panelists will know how to tailor our answers to what people actually need, okay? Mr. Dennis, I'm going to call on you first, because you looking at me. So, Mr. Dennis, if you could, introduce yourself, your business name, and what you hope to learn this evening.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming and allowing me to speak to you. My name is Dennis Eccles, and my business, thank you. My name is Dennis Eccles, and my business is Good News Kitchens. I'm a baker, and I have a building that I'm hoping to get built out as a commercial kitchen. I already have the contractor's pricing on it. I have the kitchen designer, and I have the architectural drawings for that. So I'm hoping to get that done, and the reason I'm here is trying to find out how much assistance I can get through all of these people around here to get this done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. You can keep going. This is like church. You go ahead and just pass on the mic. It's like the collection plate. Ain't nothing going in there.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Nurse. I'm in architecture, funny enough. So I'm multifamily residential architecture and a bit of commercial as well. Just trying to learn the landscape of Birmingham. Somewhat new here and just out and about, networking and seeing like what y'all are up to really. So.
We're gonna show you some friends. Go ahead.
I'm Lakeithia. I'm a local accountant. The name of my business is Pure CPA and Advisors. And I would like to learn some strategies of, business outside of, the pandemic, just what you're doing new or differently.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
My name is Isaac. I am in arts and entertainment. I work in music, and I'm actually doing an online sports show now and doing some podcasts and stuff like that. I'm just here to talk to people, fellowship, see what y'all got going on. Love all y'all beautiful people. Stay beautiful.
Come on, fellowship. Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly, and I do two things. I work for UAB in community engagement, and we also have a company that does transportation.
Good evening. My name is Jay. I'm with Jay Wings. I'm with the Safe Room. And I'm opening a business right across the street. It's going to be named The Social. I'm going to pass it along now.
All right, Luther.
Right. My name is JT Moore. I am passionate about the community. I'm currently serving as a city councilor, and I'm just here to learn more information about, business and the future of Birmingham.
My name is Jimmy Mitchell. I currently am a fleet manager at Decker. My future aspirations is one day to have my own transportation business. So I'm here to learn more about the city of Birmingham and connect with new people.
I'm Clem Summers. I am the CMO of Naughty But Nice Kettle Corn Company. We're a sweet and salty. I know, my wife's probably looking at me because she can do this much better than me, but I help. I'm here to really to observe and learn, and to hopefully share some insight and help make it, make this a great event. So.
Hi, I'm Anitra Hill. I have an interior design company here in Birmingham, A. Logan Designs. We specialize in residential and some commercial projects. And I'm excited to be here and connect with everyone and see what's going on in Birmingham.
Cool. Yeah, and she's the bomb, too. Okay, we got. Oh, Jason, we can't miss it. Come on, Jason. Come on. Come on, listen. You see he hiding behind you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jason Avery, and by day, I'm a senior director of a clinical trial at UAB for the last 25 years. But my passion is Cottage Noir. It's a lifestyle business that I have that looks for the intersection of food, fashion, design, and drink. So I want to come here tonight just to sort of, as I'm on my transition from thought to storefront, I just want to learn everything that I can.
That's right. Come on, talk to storefront. That's my friend. Brother Wood.
Hello, Clinton Woods. I wear a lot of hats. I'm in construction and real estate investing, and really here today. Want to just learn how we can be supportive of small businesses and things that we can do to help multiply what we have here in Birmingham.
For sure. Thank you.
Are you a city councilman?
Oh, yeah.
This is correct. I'm also a city councilman.
What district?
Thank you,
What district?
District 1. Thank you.
Somebody get that mic from D. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tamika Sledge, and I'm probably the only one that's not a business owner at this point, but I'm making that transition from working into entrepreneurship. So I'm here to get some pointers from the best to do it, right?
That's her notebook, so you're serious.
Yes,
I'm
serious.
Cool. Thank you so much. You're going to get that. Well, thank you guys so much for that exercise, right? Because that also, we talked, so this whole week was full of events, most of them virtual. We had one on communication, and so a lot of times you hear people now talking about how to pitch yourself and all that. So just an FYI, y'all just did that. So I just want to thank y'all so much for being put on the spot. So really quickly, we're going to have our panelists introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump right into some questions. And so this is an open forum. So as we're answering things, please feel free to add your insight, your perspective. And also, again, if there's something that you want to learn or to know about specifically, let us know because we are here to get into it, okay? So we'll start right here with my brother Ace. Introduce yourself, Ace.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ace Graham. This is my business, Alchemy Footwear and Apparel. We're pretty much a retailer in 5 Points South that focuses on high-end streetwear, footwear, and apparel, accessories, books. We like to activate the community, bridge important gaps. That's the most important thing for us. Thank you guys all for being here, and any questions that maybe I can help out with, I'm happy to do so.
For sure. Thank you, Ace. Ace is like a small business week vet because he did 2020 with me.
That's
And
true.
so you did. He did a panel on customer service, and it was amazing. So thank you. Pass that microphone, brother. Thank you.
Okay.
It's all good.
I want to salute him. This is a beautiful facility. It is so nice. So thank you. My name is Abra Barnes, and I am all things real estate. So I'm a commercial real estate broker, but I have a residential brokerage. And we also have a real estate school, event center, and a development company. So all things real estate, and it's a blessing to be here.
Awesome, thank you.
What's poppin'? I got already started like that. I'm Tanesha Sims-Summers. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Naughty But Nice Kettle Corn Company, based here in Birmingham, but we have a footprint all over the U.S. We specialize in a small batch, artisan style of crafting unique sweet and salty kettle popcorn blends. So we've coined ourselves as Birmingham and Beyond's favorite snack. And our mission is simply to make the world a sweeter place, and we do that through a lot of our philanthropic work, through sponsorships, donations, and local collaboration. So we believe we are sweeter together. So
yes,
I love it. Yep. What's up, family? So I'm Deanna Reed, and I am passionate about helping folks build political power, which is what I believe is tied to our liberation, particularly when it comes to marginalized communities. And so I'm the engagement pro. I specialize in community and political engagement, and super excited to be a part of this conversation.
Hello, hello. Okay, so my name is Mwannasheria Edwards, and I'm a cosmetologist by trade, but I've transitioned my business into the beauty industry in the form of custom wig design. I am very passionate about teaching, and so I'm looking forward to finding a way to create a teaching space for Black entrepreneurs who want to do hair but want to take it to another level. So
cool. And let's not forget that you are a celebrity stylist. I just want to, she tried to skip over that, but I love to lift my people up. Okay, all right, she just got off the plane, but go ahead.
So my name is Gilberto Herrera, and I try to make it brief because I'm like Mr. Woods here, I wear many hats. But my superpower is I scale people. You know how people talk about scaling businesses? You can't really pour into a business if the leaders aren't where they are. So I help successful business owners take their superpowers and teach people how to do the same thing that they do, which in return gives them financial freedom and time freedom. And I'm also a partner in a bank called Encore Bank. We just bought the bank 3 years ago, took it from $50 million to $2.5 billion. So I'm actually we're about to do another capital raise. So if you're looking to have a bank on your portfolio, all Class A stock, private equity, we will not go public. We're building the bank to sell it. So I'm putting that out on the front end. I'd love to talk to you.
Come on, Gilberto, billionaire boy. All right.
I know, right? I don't know what to say. Well, my name is Khalilah Sowell. I am the owner of the vegan restaurant down the street called Underground Vegan. And I just realized after you said what you said, I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, and I just posted that. Okay, so that just goes to show, you're so busy grinding and working all the time, and you just kind of forget stuff a little bit, So, but yeah, so my goal and my passion is feeding people, feeding their inner. With food and just the environment that I created in my restaurant. So that's it.
Yeah, and then, so I'm always going to lift on stuff off the page. So I also want to just give you your flowers because she looks amazing. She has this restaurant, but she's also a mother of 5. Okay, girl, I stand. I stand. Okay, girl, I got 3 kids and I barely got any inches. So I just want to salute you.
It's hard out here.
Listen, but you're doing an incredible job. Thank you guys so much. So as you can see, we have some amazing guests amongst us, but we also have some amazing panelists. So I'm extremely excited tonight about the conversation. So we're going to jump right in. There's some different questions I have around some things we want to see different.
Who are you, though?
Oh, okay, don't do that.
Bring it on in.
Gilbert, anybody ask you? All right, but if you must. My name is Alicia Levels Moore. I'm the founder of ASL Creative Firm. I say that I am a champion of dreams and the people who dream them. I'm a small business champion. I believe that everyone has potential. So I do that through technical assistance, small business development, all things economic development, all things small business, entrepreneurship, business development. And I'm passionate about figuring out how we can build more sustainable Black businesses in Black communities. Because we know that there is a space for equity in entrepreneurship, and that is an opportunity for us to build wealth. And so I do that through education, resources, and spaces. So Thank you, Gilberto. And also, I'm getting ready to open up a flexible co-working space and event space in Woodlawn, so I'm excited about that to figure out how we can continue to support entrepreneurs. So, woo-woo. All right. Thank you so much, Gilberto, for putting me on the spot. I guess you get what you give. Okay, so, all right. So, like I was saying, I want to jump in. I know there's a lot of things we could talk about that we want to change, right? That we want to see different. And we're going to get there. But I want to ask you all, and everybody doesn't have to answer, so only if it's in your shana now, okay? But what do you guys feel like, what do you guys feel like is Birmingham's biggest asset? So we're in a really exciting time, right? Everybody sees the stadium, we see the lights, we see all these different things. The World Games is coming in July, right? There's some really cool things happening. But what do you guys as entrepreneurs, as small business owners feel like is one of Birmingham's biggest assets?
I would say the people, because you definitely, with a city like Birmingham that's not highlighted as a major city, you got to have good people in place to bring awareness to what we're doing, to land deals, from other, steal deals from other places that are around us that are probably more attractive. So shout out to the leadership of the city and the people that make things happen, like Mr. Woods and JT Moore, who constantly champion for us and continue to sell our vision, even when sometimes there is nothing there, But that's really how we built the magic in the Magic City. It's the people.
Okay.
And he literally took the word right out of my head. But I just wanted to add to that, too. I think what we've seen is we have everything that we need. I was at an event, and there was a young man who was slated to go to a community college, which, is great, but he wanted to be able to actually go to a 4-year, but he didn't have the resources. And so he got an opportunity to perform in front of a large group of folks that made up a number of different industries, and they were leaders within their own right. And so what essentially ended up happening, he received a full scholarship to one of our local colleges here. And so I think for me, that was a reminder that it's all about time and circumstance and just being in the right place. But I think it starts with being in these types of rooms so that we can then begin to connect a lot of those dots.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I guess I'll say, I'll piggyback off of what they're saying. I think the essence of community and the respect of resources, right? I've probably been through 90% of the accelerators for small businesses, and being in an untapped market, right? I mean, there is opportunity when you're not in a saturated city to really grow your concepts, because there is a need for new ideas and innovation. So I think that that is the beauty of growing where you're planted right here.
That's good. I was going to say, I want to add to that too, because I know some people are not from Birmingham. Some people are new. So myself personally, I'm originally from East Atlanta. I've been in Birmingham now for going on 9 years. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I seen, Tanesha. When I got here, I was like, man, the opportunities are endless. I think one of the best assets we personally have is our perspective, right? So based on how you see the situation is how much you'll find the opportunity and look for ways, again, to be planted. And so I think whatever industry you're in, if you're new to the city, if you're not, if you're thinking about starting a business, it is an open market, right? Whatever your idea is, if you come with it and you have it prepared, I feel like it's a space where you really can grow. And then in addition to that, if you guys, agree or disagree, I think because of the way the city is set up, you can get to the people you need pretty quickly, right? Sometimes we're in these larger cities, it's a little challenging to get to the top. But Birmingham, if you go to a few places, it's like, oh, hey, how are you, right? And so I think we have to take into account the fact that the type of place we live in and, based on your perspective, you can find a lot of great opportunities. So that helps me to segue to my next question. So, and I know, Gilberto, you're into marketing. So, and again, if y'all have any thoughts, I want to hear y'all thoughts too. What do you guys feel like is the brand of Birmingham, like Birmingham entrepreneurship? So everybody knows, like, okay, I'm going to go to Atlanta. We're losing some people to Atlanta. A lot of places are losing people to Atlanta, to the Nashvilles, to the Houstons. And we kind of have an idea or a concept of what the brand is of that city. What would y'all say Birmingham's brand is? Like, what do you think we're known for? And if it's shady, that's okay too, okay? But I want to know, what do you guys think that is? And the follow-up will be, how can we reshape that? How can we retool it? And how can we reimagine that? Oh, I stumped y'all. Thank you, Clem. Yeah, don't touch the microphone. That's her. Keep them on. There you go. Okay, it's on, friend. It's green. You good?
I think this is an excellent point to put out. Of course, we know that Birmingham has a rich history, some that we don't all agree with, but us being in 5 Points South right here, we see a lot of tourists, right? So we see people that come straight from the airport, they're staying in a hotel. The coolest thing about Birmingham and its ability to brand is it's a lot of unpredictability. Like, a lot of people haven't been here for whatever reason, and when they come here, they have no understanding of what the city is supposed to be. So for me, I've been a lot of places where I expected the city to be something. I went there with preconceived notions, and it didn't live up to what I thought it was, and it made me say, man, I don't really like that city. But for the people that come here, we've kind of understood that they're shocked almost. Like, in some capacity, if you're talking globally, people think we still have dirt roads here.
Yes, they
It's
do.
a true story.
Yes.
So I think when people come here and they see how friendly people are, how diverse the city is, especially 5 Points South, they're really taken back. And I think that that's an opportunity for us to brand ourselves as, I don't know what the specific word is, but yeah, it's an opportunity zone. That's a perfect example. Yeah. That's just my 2 cents from being in 5 Points South, which is densely populated and diverse.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. Anybody else want to add to that?
Oh, I was just gonna kind of piggyback off what he said, because my idea and my mindset was the same thing. When I think Birmingham's brand or the city's brand, I think brand new, and it's NEW and KNEW, because people are like, I never knew, da 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 da, or this is new, or kind of thing. So it doesn't have a brand. The city does not have a brand, because we're so embedded in negative history, to be honest with you, to where people don't know how to take us. If I'm being completely honest, people don't know how to receive us. So kind of piggybacking off what he said, it's new. It's so new to people, even the people that are in the city. And I'm sure any brick and mortar business would have the same experience. They always like, I didn't know you were here. If I would have known. Exactly. So it's education, and it's just educating people on where Birmingham is now, opposed to where it used to be, and just living for the day of what it is today and how it's going to grow, and people are seeing that. So I would say the brand is brand new, because we're growing.
Okay. Brand new. That's it, girl. We need to coin that. Okay, cool. JT, y'all do something.
Let me write that down.
Y'all do something. It's IP right there. Keep that in back.
But to add a different perspective, when we did the deal with the bank, the people that started the bank, they're from Arkansas, and they know more about Birmingham than I did. They was telling me a story about Vulcan. They knew every crevice of the city. It's funny because they found me on LinkedIn, and they were like, we want to be in Birmingham like yesterday. So when I flew out and met with them, I was like, I didn't even know half of this stuff. So people pay attention to the city. Oftentimes the people that pay attention, we just don't see them on social media. But people want a piece of Birmingham bad. So.
And can
Yeah, for sure.
So, can you all hear me? I don't know
Speak.
Okay, I need the mic. Okay.
Stop pushing the button. There you
Okay,
go.
sorry.
Okay.
Don't push the
Bless
button.
it. Okay.
So to Gilberto's point, I think that when I say opportunity zone, I think that when you look at the perspective of people who take interest in the city and who see the opportunity, are going to be the people who have the opportunity to invest. It's going to be entrepreneurs. I think that there are certain communities who don't see the pathway to opportunity. If you've been here for a very long time, even if you see new edifices going up and new businesses, if you don't feel a part of that, and if you don't feel the integration, the true integration, then you may miss the mark. We are based in Woodlawn, and fortunately for us, we get people coming from like Mount Laurel and just all over, the mega zone of Birmingham, right? And so it's like you don't leave your community, just like black people may not leave theirs. So for me, I think that's an opportunity for the city. How can we cross that over so that we can move past those stigmas that sometimes people see, so that they can enjoy the growth of the city?
No, that's good. And I want to add to that too, and I think this is good for everybody. So again, being from Atlanta, one thing I know that really helped the city grow, in addition to leaders, political, being very intentional about how they position and supported minority entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs, is that everybody from that city is an ambassador of their city. Yeah. Most people, if they're from Atlanta, Houston, LA, they're whatever they do, they're gonna shout at their city. So I think for us as entrepreneurs, we have an opportunity to be better and louder ambassadors for Birmingham, because we have some amazing folks in this room, and people love you, they want to connect to you. And so if they always hear you shouting out Birmingham, if they always hear you talking about what makes your city great, it then kind of tunes people's ears to say, well, I didn't know it was an underground vegan, you know what I'm saying, celebrity custom wig stylist right in my backyard, right? You know, like, people need to know that. So I think we have an opportunity to be brand ambassadors. And I just want to shout out Ace, because I know you've done some different things. Don't get your eyes all big. With different companies, you know, who have done some things that have only been done here in Birmingham with some of the brand partnerships that you've done. And so I think things like that help to also bring insight to the city. So, all right, so let me take a little turn. So we have some newer entrepreneurs in the room, some folks considering entrepreneurship, some people who are knee deep in entrepreneurship. So if anybody would like to share a little bit about when you started, what was your biggest challenge and how did you kind of overcome that? Like, what did you do? Was it, you know, you probably have a very unique story, Abra, with real estate and all those different things. Share one of the things that was an obstacle for you and how you kind of, she just passed you the microphone, and how you overcame it. And the reason I want to take this turn is because sometimes it could get a little challenging when we're in the thick of things. And so one thing, in order to really grow our ecosystem, that's my baby. In order to grow an ecosystem, we have to make sure that we actually support businesses to stay in business, to stay the course, because it's not easy. So I just wanted somebody to share their story and one thing they did to kind of get over that hump.
Okay. I got two things I want to share. I apologize. When I first started I've been in real estate 22 years. I started with my father. He died suddenly in 2015. So I was forced to take over the business, okay? And I'm very transparent, anybody that knows me. And when my daddy died, he didn't have a will, okay? And he didn't have all of his affairs in order. So I actually couldn't even take over the company. I had to start from scratch, you know, and build everything over again, you know. So I tell all my people in the community, make sure you have all your affairs in order, so in the event that you pass away, we know how to handle things. But I was a new business owner, even though I had been an independent contractor for years, and one thing I could not get was funding. Funding to start my business and to get a location. So one thing that I did do, I like to research, and you know, there are banks that have to give money to minorities and minority communities, you know, in order to keep afloat. So I went to a bank that had been sued because of discrimination. And because I knew they had been sued because of discrimination, I knew they were looking for a minority to invest in. Mm-hmm. So after getting, even though I had perfect credit, what I call perfect credit, over 800 credit score, had some money, not a lot of money, but some money. But I had a history of being in that industry. But I kept being told no, even though I had all my affairs in order. Mm-hmm. But finally, I said, let me go to the people that said no to everybody else. And that's how I ended up getting the funding in order to open up my business. Wow. All right, so it worked out in my favor. That's a whole nother story. But I do want to talk to Mr. Eccles. Mm-hmm. So he has all his things in order. One thing I say too, and I'll let somebody, we'll talk about that later on. But for you, there are products available in commercial real estate. Like SBA has 504 loans and 7A loans where you can get up to 120% towards your financing. When I say, and even more than that, where you don't have to put money down to buy a property or even a bill, and they give you money for renovation. You know, and so there are products available, and even to get you capital. So that's one of the products I did on one of my properties. You know, so I didn't have to put much in, and I started out with a higher interest rate, but you can always go back and refinance, and it can be stretched out for a long time. So I can talk to you about products that's available to get you over that hurdle so you can start your business.
Okay, right. and that let's do it. Can we snap, clap, give me something. And so thank you, Abra. And that's what tonight is about, right? Like, I'm tired of it, and I'm sure you guys are as well, going into rooms and you don't walk away with anything tangible. Yeah. Right? Like, especially, time is up for us just feeling good. It's time for us to be able to have what we need to do good. Right? And so thank you for that. So make sure you connect with her, because we want to see this bakery. All right? And I want to go. All right? I want some goodies. Okay? I want to feel good. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I want to talk a little bit about collaboration. So one of the things that I've seen, I guess I'm no longer new to Birmingham, but when I first was new to Birmingham, one of the things that kind of threw me off a little bit, I was like, man, you ask people what they do, don't nobody want to tell you nothing. Like, you know, and so it was a little off-putting because I wasn't sure if there was really a spirit of collaboration, because sometimes, not saying that this is what's happening now, but in instances, people can really operate out of a scarcity mindset, right? And so yesterday we had a conversation around generational wealth, and we talked about the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. And so I want to talk a little bit about collaboration. How has it been for you all finding collaborators, and what do you think we can do to really support a spirit of collaboration? Because for Birmingham to continue to go where it's going, and for minority and Black-owned business owners to thrive, we have got to work together, right? We've got to work together. We see it happening in other cities. And so how do you guys feel like we can really help cultivate that collaboration amongst the entrepreneurial community, ecosystem, and small business owners?
So I have a saying, and this is how I live my life, period. You can't turn a contact to a contract without the letter R, right? Mm-hmm. And the letter R stands for relationships. That's the only thing that separates the two. I would say how I built my entire career, I was in the street. And when I wanted to rebrand myself, I just threw myself in rooms like this. You can't be scared. And you have to have a mindset. We are all selfish by nature. But in order for you to get something from someone, you have to figure out how you can help them first. You know, so putting spaces together like this and sitting down and just sharing ideas with each other. You know, I literally see it happen in other communities. And the crazy part is I was in a room with some white people the other day. They are suing each other on a different deal, but they are in the room together and say, yeah, let the lawyers handle it, but we got business to handle. Now, what can I do for you? You know, so putting the personal aside and realizing that if you want to get something, if you own a business, your first priority is to serve someone, and you can't serve them without the feedback from someone else. And it would start with seeing how we can serve each other versus trying to see what we can gain from each other.
That's interesting. For me personally, in every email that I send at the bottom, it says collaborate anywhere. And I've been using that since 2012, probably. Mm-hmm. So for me, I built the business 100% on collaboration. Every person that we work with as far as brand partners is a collaboration for us. Every staff member that we have, whether that be a project manager or a stylist, those people wanted to do what they're doing in their own space before they came to me. I just see that our paths align, and I can help you get there, and you can help me get where I want to go too. So I built the entire business off of collaboration and seeking that. And I tell anyone that comes in, this is a platform that we are trying to build so that other people can use, because it's no benefit of me to not help other people. And I don't mean that like, oh, I just want to help people. It's really, no, like, you do that really well. We need that. Let's do this together, and then we can use this as a platform, and then we can start tapping into these other collaborators and brand partners and get them to support us in our community as well, too. So I think anybody that treats their business like it's a lifestyle business and a collaboration within itself is going to be the master collaborator.
Awesome. Anybody
That's deep. Everything he said. I'm literally, we carry the same motto. So we have a whole platform on our website called Make Your Local Pop. And Zig Ziglar, a famous entrepreneur and motivational speaker, said, you can have everything you want if you can help everybody else get what they want. And our first Make Your Local Pop collaboration was with Eugene's Hot Chicken. Mm-hmm. He and I, the inception of our businesses started around the same time. He kind of started describing this Nashville hot chicken, and I'm like, okay, everybody likes chicken, but what's so special about this chicken? And the way he described it, and just the way he described his passion for community, I knew he would be a very great fit for what I believe to be the onset of taking initiative, right? Like, we have to be intentional. A lot of times we're on the grind, we're thinking about our personal success, but I think if we move out our own way and we figure out how we can intentionally help people, I'm not talking about, like, we spend money on other businesses. We cut a check for one small business, Michelle's Chocolate Lab. We did a collaboration, and that landed her an opportunity, right? Because it came through us, but we worked collaboratively together. I was able to write her a check for $1,500 because she was in a space that maybe she would not have otherwise been in, and vice versa. It's been the same way with us. So I believe in that quid quo pro, right? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But that scarcity mindset of, if I help you too much, then I can't see you exceed beyond me. When in actuality, we need that to happen. Because and collaborations can look so many ways. It could mean, I can move past what's convenient and go a little bit out of my way, like my friend Abra here, who uses us for her client gifting or just anything, right? And that means a lot for a small business. We don't take that for granted. And so I think it's just being intentional. Go and sit down and have coffee with people. You're not that busy. You don't have to just talk on social media. You can come in here and talk to Ace. And so we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable and putting ourselves in new environments and figuring out how can we get with people who share the same passions that we do. And you'll see, I think you'll see major success just in your personal life. You'll feel fulfilled, and you'll really see the trajectory of your community change in a positive way when you're being intentional with thinking about what other people need, so.
Yeah. Alicia, real quick, this is going to be 30 seconds. Something that I've had to learn is that you also don't have to do it all by yourself, right? And so a part of that is also understanding what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, right? And so where you thrive, you do your thing. But where you may lag, it's also, to your point, about being intentional in identifying folks that can now lean in and support. So when I ran for office, I knew marketing wasn't my thing. I could talk to people, but I knew that was what Gilberto did. He eats marketing and sleeps it, and so I reached out to him. So I think it's really helping to be more impactful when you're able to engage more people that may not necessarily specialize in what you specialize in, but you ultimately need what's inside of them.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to add this too. Like, I want to say this. So I think sometimes the challenge is say we're in the same industry. Say we might be doing something that's similar. Sometimes it can feel intimidating, but there are more than enough people. There are more than enough resources. There are more than enough things going on to where even if someone is in the same field or industry, you can still collaborate with them, because what we're believing God for is that the business is going to be so abundant, you ain't going to be able to take all of it anyway, right? So you're going to be able to need to pass some of that stuff off. So if somebody's even in the same industry, don't be afraid to connect with them and to collaborate with them. So thank you. Yeah. So you said you have something? Okay. Yeah. Your hand is low. Okay.
One thing I would say is, all my years in business, what my advice would be is stay humble if you don't do anything else. Because all my years I've stayed humble. And you never know when you have that time of need. And I'm in the business 15 years, and I come to the point where I had my time of need. And my people came through. When I say my people came through, they came through, and they backed me in a major way. I'm done.
Okay. Listen, but we holding on for every word. I'm like, listen. I was in. I want you to know.
Like, really,
yeah.
Seriously, like just stay humble, listen to people, give advice, pass on game, pass on game. Don't hold anything, because actually, in actuality, a person can have the same concept and go across the street. It's enough money for everybody, man. Like, it really is. Like, it's enough money for people. A person can go across the street and sell the same. You can go across the street for me and sell wings, man. You can sell hot lemon pepper. I got hot lemon pepper.
Yeah, yeah,
It don't matter.
yeah,
It really don't. It's enough customers for everybody.
for sure.
I've been open J Wings for 13 years. I've never had a day that the customer didn't come in my door. I haven't. I really hadn't. When I opened my first location in Fordendale, I had a culture shock because I didn't grow up in a day and age in Birmingham. I grew up in Birmingham, and anybody that grew up in Birmingham, I'm 35 years old. And when you say, like, what was Birmingham known for? Birmingham was separation. It was a separation where we grew up. It was black and white. But we are the change. Like, we are, like, our parents, the way they raised us, don't go to Mount Brook. When you get your license, don't go over there. You don't go to the 3 H's. You don't go to Hoover, Homewood. You don't go to Homewood, and what's the other one? You don't go to Hoover, Homewood, or Mount Brook. You don't go that way.
HHM. We
HHM.
We with you.
You understand what I'm saying? But now I got my license, I go into one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't teach my kids that.
Right, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying? But because that's not right. That's not a good way of thinking. You should be able to do business anywhere you choose to do business. I opened up my first business in Fordendale, and that's a predominantly white area. And when I went over there, I was telling my people, cut off that music. Don't play that music. Like, when white people came in, they had to show me, like, Jay, we love you. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. We're keeping it real, right?
Yeah.
I did not know.
We in the living room. Yeah, we in the street.
We just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? I think that's a good segue. So one of the things I wanted to ask y'all, right, is how do we nurture the next generation of entrepreneurs on a national scale? So, and I wanted that anybody can answer. I want to direct this to M and to D. D, we know you do a lot of work nationally. Come on, we got you global. And so, receive that in your sha-na-na. Okay, and so you do a lot of work. So how can we cultivate people? And M, in her business, she really focuses in on how to teach the next generation of beauty and industry experts. And so just, again, anybody can answer, but I did want to direct this toward you two. How do you guys feel like we can help cultivate the next generation of entrepreneurs, right? So we're in it. We're doing our thing. We're figuring it out, right? Like Jay was saying, like, hey, I've been in it for all these years, so we're getting it. But then the way for us to grow is we got to pull some folks up. That's right. So how do you two feel like we can, and again, this is for everybody, but how do y'all feel like we can nurture the next generation of entrepreneurs?
So for me, I am in a very saturated industry, right? And I've found that collaboration has been the easiest thing as I've navigated into like the wig space. And for me, just being able to share any of the small knowledge that I do know, it has kind of opened up a space for other wig makers or aspiring wig makers or hairstylists to be like, okay, like I don't have to have a closed hand. I can share, I can give, I can collaborate, even though we do, to y'all's point earlier, the exact same thing. And so I feel like building up the next generation is directly tied to your willingness to serve, which is what we've been talking about, and your willingness to be able to share everything that you know that could build up the next person and grabbing them and pulling them along with you.
Oh, so I absolutely agree. I think for me, it's been about exposure. I was exposed to a whole world that I didn't even realize existed. Oftentimes when we would have career day and folks would come to the school, they would say, be a teacher, or they would say, hey, you go to high school, go to college, and then you go and get a job working for someone else. And we obviously know that nothing is wrong with that, but what happens when you've actually been called to do so much more? And so I think as we're thinking about really cultivating the gifts in the next generation, in the organizing space, we call it meeting people where they are. I had a conversation with a sister. She was working behind a register, but she actually had a business inside of her. And so it's us really being able to meet people where they are, having those conversations, giving them the information. I think having information is one thing, but it's also making it accessible accessible, right? It's being able to go to the gate cities and go to the Kingstons and knock on people's doors and providing them with those resources, because what we also know is a lot of those folks work multiple jobs. And so if we're talking about, I think it's reimagining even the way that we convene, and even in the spaces that we convene. If you're working multiple jobs and you have several children, chances are you can't show up to a meeting at 1:00 in the afternoon. And so I think it means that we have to do something different. So that means we have to create these opportunities on a Saturday. It may be after hours. It may be us showing up right outside and setting up tents and setting up chairs. But I think that's what has made the work that we do with organizations like Woke Vote and other spaces impactful, is showing up where the need is and really providing real tangible solutions for folks so they don't have to always start from scratch.
Thank you. I was say you.
No.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that that's excellent, and I always listen to other people and how they approach their business and interacting with other people, and I just compare it to my own. And for me, I'm not one of those people that are going to organize something major for a bunch of people. I just think about it like the next person that's going to be a business owner is probably the person that works for me. Because they're going to get frustrated at some point, or they're going to outgrow, or whatever the case may be, and they're going to go out and do their own thing. So if I can work with my staff first, that's something I can do every single day. For me, lifestyle business is through and through. I don't do anything in business that I don't do in my personal life. It's the same. So I don't have to prepare for anything. I show up every single day. It's the same thing for me. And if I can instill in my staff the best practices that I have access to, the most resources that I have access to, then when they get tired of me or they decide that they want to go do their own thing, I've already done my part.
Yeah.
So I don't have to kind of separate something. So
That's real good. That's good.
I got one. A couple of things. Like I said, I've been doing what I do over 20 years now, but the largest deal I've ever had just happened recently, and it happened because of collaboration. Collaborating with somebody in the same industry with me. So a RFP came out, a request for proposal, and they pretty much had 5 check boxes you have to check off. I knew I could check off 3.5, but I knew the other ones I was lacking. So again, knowing where you're strong and then knowing where you're weak. I knew somebody that was strong in those 2 categories, and I went to them, pretty much said, look, I don't think it's anybody that's going to be strong in all 5 categories by themselves. But if we come together, I feel like we'll be strong in all 5 categories. We went against national and international companies, and 2 small business owners we won out of 15 applicants. And so it was pretty major, and it wouldn't happen if I did not collaborate. So it's pretty big. But the second thing I was going to say about bringing other people up, during my years, I've had great times and I've had bad times when I had absolutely nothing, because that's how entrepreneurship can be, and so. But I felt like my gift was given to me, and I have to teach others what I was blessed with so they can be blessed too. So that's one of the reasons I started my school. We have about 200 people go through our school every year, and I pour into them, and I choose teachers to pour into them to teach them that same gift that has blessed us. And then we have a mentorship program so we can have other people, once they get their license, they can be trained even more. So in addition to that, one thing I tell them all the time, in order to do real estate, you only have to be 19 years old. And I think about, in my office in this field, we got plenty of people making $200,000 plus. Doctors, a lot of doctors making $200,000, $300,000, and they spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on education and stay in debt their whole entire life. And I tell them, you can make that same money for $500. $500 in 2 weeks worth of school. I can teach you how to make some money. You know what I'm saying? And the same money that doctors, lawyers, engineers, and everybody, you do not have to go to college. I teach that. So the other thing is, college is not for everybody, and so I feel like we need to start at a younger age teaching, you can go to college, but it does not have to be an option. So you have other choices. And then also I feel like it's important because they talk about 1 out of 3.5 people in Birmingham are living in poverty. And we know that poverty breeds crime. But if we teach them early, I'm going to show you how to get this money.
you gonna get up out of crime and you gonna get up out of poverty. You know what I'm saying? So we have to bring each other up. So,
Well, we thank you, Bishop, for
All
that
right.
word. And I want you to know, can you hear me on my microphone? Thank you, Bishop, for that word. I want you to know I want to be the next one in your class. Teach me your
Amen.
ways. Okay.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
I'm
All
next.
right.
Dee and Abra made two great points. Opportunity. I think, the beauty of being in entrepreneurship is probably the thing that keeps me doing this when I'm like, I need to just go back to corporate America. I have plenty of those days. But it's like to be a Black-owned company and to be able to hire people. But most importantly, I see the shift from what I experienced in corporate America and the training and the exposure I was able to get, and then being a small business, you can't just have people there just working to do a task. I mean, I try to be very intentional, and I know, mentorship, all that is very great, but for us, we try to create even working with the Birmingham Promise program, right? A great way to, if you're growing your business, you need interns. The Birmingham Promise has been great for us because these are students who are intentional. Some of them, they have an idea of their career path, but to Abra's point, some of them don't know. They don't know. But when you are in a space where somebody can help you to cultivate and to think about what the opportunities could be. So a lot of that for us looks like, what are those other components to have a business, right? Like, we don't just pop kettle corn. You have to have an accountant, and I like them to meet those accountants. We have to have a marketing team. We got to think about how do we grow our revenue. Having those kind of conversations, to Ace's point, is like, don't just have people there working. You have to be intentional in their lives and exposing them to skills that, some of the Birmingham Promise interns, they go to corporations and they're just doing busy work. And I was very proud when they said, because I'm like, look, I know it looks beautiful and gravy on the outside, but it can be hell. And you got to know how to have that mentality to get past those hellish days. And they need to see it from the ground up to know that, okay, if she could do it, I can do it too. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, there are a lot of young children who have skill sets that they just want a place to use their skills. So I think if we could tap into a lot of these local programs and be intentional with the schools and really be intentional around even programs, like, right, when I was in college, I interned at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. There was a whole program around how to develop me. So taking it that step further, saying, yeah, I want to hire younger people, but how can we be intentional of what experience we want them to have when they get a chance to work with us?
For sure. And so I have just two more questions. So the last question I want to direct to everybody, but the second to last question I want to direct to the vegan queen. Hey, girl, hey. Okay. She's like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm talking about you. Okay. And I want to ask you this question. This question is around kind of one of those things is what I wish I would have known. What I wish somebody would have told me as I was getting ready to start my business, as I was going into brick and mortar. I know personally, as I have navigated this space, I have been presented with a whole bunch of stuff I did not even know you had to go through, right? And it's some things I'm like, man, I wish somebody would have said something. So if you could tell us, like, starting your business, right? You're going into brick and mortar. You start as a food truck, right? Amazing. Nope. She said, girl, get my story right. But that's where I started. Okay, that's where I first found you. Okay, and so, but however you started, so correct me on that. But you got into this brick and mortar space. You're in this space, and I'm sure it's a whole new world, right, with employees and all these different things, operations. So if you could share this, one of the things you wish you knew, and one of the things you wish that Birmingham locally had to support you that maybe didn't exist, right? Because we have some people in the room who are a part of policy and legislation. They want to know, how can we make it easier? So one thing you wish you would have known, and another, what is something that was lacking that you wish would have been in place?
I would say, first and foremost, OPM, other people money. Don't use your money. I use my money. So I would never, I would advise against that, first off, because there are so many different resources and all that kind of stuff, so you can, get funding. The second thing I would say about Birmingham and setting up everything is just doing your own research. A lot of times you think you need stuff that's already within you. So search for yourself, see what you can find first, and always come to the table with something, because people are more susceptible to help you when you help yourself. So I would say that's that's one thing, one takeaway that I had. And sell people stuff that they want, not what you want. You're not gonna make no money.
Money.
You're not gonna make no money if you try to sell. Because I could sell a whole bunch of stuff. How I started out, I said, if I'm gonna do it, I was posting stuff on social, and I said, if I'm gonna, people like, cook for me. I was like, okay, but I'm not gonna be one. Nothing against cooking out your kitchen and selling plates. Not against that. I wasn't gonna do that because I always feel like I'll be the one that get caught. Every single time they're gonna lock me up.
Right. No permit, no license, nothing.
Everybody can do everything wrong, but Khalilah gonna be the one that get caught. I don't know why. But yeah, so I decided to get licensed first, and I said, okay, well, I'm gonna get licensed legally so I can, sell people out of a commercial kitchen. So that's what I did, and I was making stuff that I liked. I was making all the stuff that people were saying that they were gonna buy, but nobody bought it. So I had to tap into myself. I was like, okay, what do people want to eat? I can't sell stuff that people aren't going to buy because that's not sustainable. So once you tap into exactly what your customer wants to buy, then you make money. I know it's not that simple, but that's the beginning because you can't sell anything that people don't want to buy. So I think that would be the most important thing that I learned is just getting out of your own mind and getting into the mind of the consumer. That's going to help, a ton. So
yeah, for sure. Before I ask the last question, anybody want to add to that? Are y'all good?
I would say, if it doesn't pay, not today. No, seriously. Especially in the world we live in, social media makes everything appear to be perfect. So a lot of people start and they think they got to spend money on all these fancy photo shoots and this big brand strategy and marketing that is not effective. So I would tell you as a business owner, learn direct response marketing. Basically, if you put something out, you're gonna garner a response immediately, and that goes to understanding your customer. It's no different than selling what they want. If you understand the mind of a customer, or more particularly the person you want to sell to, and sell to either the pain point or the success that they want, then you will be rich. I guarantee you. And also, I'm going to just give you a secret. People only want three things. They want to be wealthy, they want to be healthy, and they want better relationships. Everything we do is centered around those three things. That's it.
I think just for the sake of it, I want to be really old school here and just throw this out here. Something that I wish that I knew was the importance of having legal aid and a true accountant.
That's right.
Okay.
Those two
right,
things, like,
look, you about to fall on the floor. Everybody pushing.
I'm sorry.
Use your attorney.
It's so important. I was one of those people that took a lot of classes and thought that I could figure it out, but once you realize that every deal that you go into, there's a flaw on their side, and you just like you can have flaws on your side. So you may not have all your paperwork right. The person that you're dealing with is probably not in that space either, but you need a professional that's in the middle that helps you understand where their shortcomings are and where your shortcomings are. And you can save a lot by doing that because I was on location number 2 or 3 coming into this space, and I was operating thinking like, I have to meet all the marks. I have to meet all the marks. They didn't meet all the marks. And if I had had the proper representation, they would have helped me point out that they weren't meeting the marks. And I would have saved myself a ton of money and a ton of headache and heartache. And I attribute all of that to not having the proper legal representation and the proper accounting. Those are the 2 most important parts.
That's good.
I was going to say the exact same thing, but I'm adding it because we said we were talking about going into a brick and mortar. And that's one thing I don't see enough of us having, a good accountant. And if you're looking to lease a property or buy a property, you got to have your financials in order. And I see it so many times, small business owners writing off everything so they don't have to pay Uncle Sam. And so what happens is it looks like you have no money and nobody wants to fool with you, for real. And the first thing I see us say all the time, they racist. They don't want, no, you don't have your checks in order. You know what I'm saying? You hadn't handled your business. And I told people too, Don't just go with an accountant because they get the most Facebook likes. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing I learned the hard way, I'm a small business owner that owns commercial property that have several employees in independent contractors. I can't just go with somebody, a tax preparer that say they work for small business, okay? Because you got to go with somebody specifically like that. I went with somebody that was very popular before. It was a $30,000 mistake. Because they really did not know how to do taxes. Okay, and it's a difference between accounting, a tax preparer, and all that. You got to learn the difference. And that's the thing I got to say. You got to have your financials together. If you want to scale your business, even if you don't have a commercial space, if you want to scale your business, franchise it, people want to see your financials. You can't just tell them you get 1,000 Facebook likes and they want to invest in you. So that's the biggest thing I would say.
Yep, and when it comes to the bank, the same exact point, when we start asking for the financials, a lot of the times I'm trying to help you, and I try to tell them, like, I'm not going to see him because I'm not a banker. I'm just use me to get what you want. And it's like a month go by, and I'm like, hey, did you ever turn that in? Oh, I hadn't even filed taxes for 3 years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You know, and I'm like, you got to get that done because, you know, the deal is about to come through. Well, I ain't going to even worry about it. You know, why it's got to be like that? You know, so I would also say, when you build a business, you're building a system. A lot of us put our emotions into it. You got to build it like one day you're not going to be there. It needs to operate without you. You know, so the acronym system means save yourself time, energy, and money. You know, so when you build a business, you want to make system means save yourself time, energy, and money. So try to automate as much as you can. Learn to delegate and eliminate anything that does not make you money.
Okay, I'll automate, delegate, and eliminate.
Listen,
Pastor, you own something with that one. And I want to shout out, thank you for bringing that out. Legal representation, accountant, and Lakeithia, she's back there. She introduced herself. She is a CPA. So if you guys need somebody, let us know. I heard last night, you know, there are, is it 3%? 1%?
Less than 3% CPAs are black.
Right, and there go one of them. So, Shanana. So we want to shout her out. So if you need an accountant, she's one of them. And so to wrap this conversation, I'm enjoying myself, and I just want to thank you guys so much. The last question I want to ask is, what is your hope for Birmingham? What is your hope for Birmingham? What's your vision for Birmingham? Now, y'all, that was an easy question. Why y'all looking? Yeah.
Because we don't know.
Okay. And that's the thing, too. Because, and the reason I asked that question is because we're talking about the future, right? We talked about what we wanted to see. We talked about how to collaborate. And so as entrepreneurs, I want to know, like, what is your hope for? Because, you know, this goes into the word, you know, as the city prospers, so will you, right? And so we want to know, right? Well, really me, I said we. But I want to know, like, what is your hope? Because as we have a hope for it, then we know where we fit into that vision, where our business fits in, where we thrive, where our gifts and our skills fit in. So what's your hope for Birmingham? What do you see?
For me, I can speak on that. I'm not from Birmingham.
Okay.
Right?
Man.
I think that the person that's in Birmingham needs to understand how cool Birmingham really is. And what I deal with, so I've done a lot of work with, I've done a lot of work with the Civil Rights Institute and just in that space. And I traveled a lot to different institutions to understand what was going on. And everybody tells the story about Birmingham better than Birmingham. I think somebody said that earlier. I think that if people here can stand to the side of what the history was and separate that and just kind of move on, which I know is an extremely hard thing to do, but there's so much potential. It's so cool. And me personally, I could live a lot of places, and I chose to live in Birmingham because I saw the potential. I saw the ability that we didn't have any, for my business in particular, we didn't have any zoning issues. Nobody wanted to carry the brands that we wanted to carry here. So we have like this free space to do whatever we want. And we can go from Huntsville all the way to Mobile and into Mississippi. Nobody's really trying to be here in Birmingham. So there's a huge opportunity for you to do whatever it is that you want to do if you just understand that this place is a lot cooler than you think it is when you live here.
That's good. That might be it. Ace, I think you just wrapped this up with a bow. So, so thank you. I totally agree. And again, that was another reason for this conversation is, you know, like we said earlier, we have to be ambassadors for the city. We have to be ambassadors for what it is that we do. and shine a light on all the gifts, on all the greatness that is Birmingham, the entrepreneurs that we see, the ones we see in the news, the ones we hear about, but then the ones we don't, right? Because there are some people doing some amazing work behind the scenes. So if you guys could, if you could get a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your schedules. We know that you're busy. I know that you all are busy. So I appreciate everyone for just joining this conversation tonight. And so again, this was a part of National Small Business Week Small Business Week that happens all over the place, but this is specifically for Birmingham. And so I appreciate you guys for being a part of the conversation. And I'm just glad that we were able to have this conversation. And I hope that something was sparked in you. But I think one of the things, the biggest things I know for me personally is just, just put some respect on Birmingham name. That's all I'm saying. And I've come a long way. And I'm going to tell you, because I was like, but okay, and JT can tell you. So, put some respect on Birmingham's name and really be proud of the work that you're doing in the space and know that it's trailblazing and it's making a difference. So, again, thank you all so much. Please make sure you guys drink the margaritas and that white wine that we got back there. And we want to thank Gilberto for sponsoring that. So y'all got to drink it now to pay respect to Gilberto. I will. But you gotta honor Roberto's gift. So we want to make sure that we do that, and also make sure you guys talk to each other, because the point of tonight also, we talked about collaborations, to meet somebody new, to connect with somebody, and see who you can do some business with. Okay. So thank you all so much, and have a great evening. Thank you.